Hey guys, happy Monday and welcome to the Service Without Excuses podcast. I am glad to be with you. We want to thank our sponsor, Sotellus. You can go check them out at sotellus.com/Rob Lyon. They are a great company to work with. They manage all of our reputation management software. They've been doing it for our business for a few years now, and we've done 10 times the amount of referrals, and the distribution is so huge for us that we actually get calls on a weekly basis from people hiring us based on the reviews. So it's not like they just call and say, hey, give me a price. Not saying it doesn't happen, but they do tend to book us pretty quickly based on reputation. So we use Sotellus. Again, go check it out at sotellus.com/Rob Lyon, Lyon. We have a great guest on tonight, Scott, from the CRM program I actually personally use. I've been using it for about a year and a half now. Really like it. A fellow carpet cleaner actually referred it to me, and I watched the program he did with him in the past, and I went, wow, let me check this thing out. When I saw the little demo, I was like, this is pretty cool. Why it was really cool to me was I used to manage, everybody's probably heard of him, a Stanley Steamer, and it was a decent-sized operation, and we had a CRM program. That's what we called it back then. And it was something proprietary to that company, to Stanley Steamer. So I didn't know how to operate a company without being able to look at analytics, being able to look at where guys were at scheduling, closeouts on jobs, mileage, marketing dollars, how they were finding out about us, leads, everything. And then I found out about companies like Scott's. It's Markate or Markate. I may say it incorrectly.
That's okay. Yeah, Markate.
It is Markate. All right. Well, Scott, welcome, my friend. I appreciate having you here on the Service Without Excuses podcast. Please explain, just let our customers know, or listeners, I should say, a little bit more about your company.
Sure. Yeah. No, thank you, Rob. Appreciate it. Been listening to your podcast for a couple months now. Love your stuff. Love your content. You have great guests, great info. So thank you for being such a thought leader and putting this out there. Yeah. So Scott Burton with Markate. We are a CRM or field service management software or platform, if you will, to help just manage your business. A few years ago, back in let's say 2016 or so, 17, we'd actually set out to, bring a pro and a consumer together, right? So how does someone who cleans carpets finds a customer, right? So in bringing those together, but like everyone else, when you start off with a mission, you kind of get sidetracked or uncover another need. And so what I was hearing is it wasn't so much about finding a consumer or a customer. It was about, I just can't run my business, right? If we have customers, how do I send an estimate or collect money or market to them and communicate back and forth with them? And I want it all in one platform. So we kind of changed courses. Went back to the drawing board and said, hey, how can we build this up and help solve that need? So not only bringing pros and customers together, but since all the information is there, how do you manage it, right? And that's, again, notifications, reminders, keeping track of your expenses. So obviously getting paid. And then, as you grow, how do I find new leads and lead generation or, just staying top of mind. I think that's huge because really it's about the experience. And I think customers really want to go through an experience. They, from the moment they submit either a form or a lead contact form to receiving that estimate, to paying online, to, choosing the packages, right? That whole experience is crucial. And then not only that, but what are you doing in between there to stay top of mind, to stay relative, and interesting so that they don't choose someone else for, another service or, 6-12 months later, choose someone else. So, why you? So again, long answer to that question, Rob, but again, it's really about providing that the brains behind your operations and help saving you time is really what we're about.
100%. So I think about it, and we talked about this before. I don't necessarily call CRM the brains behind it, although it is very important. But anybody knows anything about a car, you know what a distributor is. A distributor takes and sends a signal to different parts of your car. Mm-hmm. Without it, your car won't move. It's just it's gonna the motor can run for 300,000-400,000 miles. It's absolutely useless without a distributor telling the vehicle to turn itself on. It's a starter won't work without a distributor sending the signal. To me, that's what a CRM program is. It's a way to distribute the information to the right place so you can analytically look at something. Now, you don't have to be a numbers person. You don't have to be a numbers geek, a technology person to sit there and look at this. This program is super, super easy to use, super easy to find out information. To boot, even if it's not, and I can't find something, which is hard, it's hard for me not to be able to find something on my own. But when I can't, I send a message out to your office.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear to God, I don't know if they just sit by the phone. I mean, it makes you feel like somebody's just literally sitting by the phone or the computer, and they answer it very quickly. And they say, hey, Rob, this is what you need to do right here. Click, 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 done. And if they're not totally sure that I'm going to understand it, which is entirely possible depending on the day, they will physically call me and say, hey, were you any questions about what that was? That's huge. You just talked about the experience, and people buy based on experience. Certainly our company, New Jersey's Best, is not the cheapest company in New Jersey. We don't even try. When people price haggle us or price shop us, we're just not that company. We're going to do a fair job for a very reasonable price, a very fair price, but it's got to work for both sides in order for us to do it. And because we offer that type of service, because Service Without Excuses is not just the name of the podcast, it's the branding that I put behind the business. The values that people hold when they're looking at hiring us is we're reliable. They see it online. They see it from our reviews. They see it from the feedback they get. They've heard it from their friends. They've heard it from their family. It's no different than a great CRM program being able to operate your business. Efficiency is huge. Being easy to use. I don't say it's quick. It's efficient. Efficient means I can go and I can find something very quick. And yes, I did have a background, again, as I had said, looking at CRM programs and how they operated. But to me, to many people that have run a business, let's just say it's somebody that says, I've already run a carpet cleaning business and I'm going to go out on my own, similar to what I did in 2005. Mm-hmm. And they said, you know what, I've had it. I want to do it. They don't know if they're in a management role or a leadership role. They don't know how not to run with a CRM program. They wouldn't understand how not to use these tools that make your business streamlined. I mean, I can't imagine trying to do even taxes at the end of the year without having some of this information, having all of your expenses put into a category, having it, photographed and put the receipt into it. I mean, everybody loses receipts. I don't care who you are. We try not to, but it happens. We'll lose a receipt, but at least we're taking the picture and it's getting uploaded. At the end of the year, if my accountant says, hey, I don't quite understand something, click. Do we understand it now? So it's the ease of use that I found with the system that made it a comfortable fit. But the experience I had with your staff made it a home run for me personally.
Good. Great to hear that. Yeah, it is. I feel it's very intuitive, so very easy to use, very user friendly. We set up the modules, the drop down menus. There's reasons behind things are placed or put in a certain position or certain way, just because we have an idea of how it should flow. And as my background, I grew up painting houses and I was a handyman by trade. So, there's certain aspects that you would run a business. It doesn't have to be though. We did make it flexible enough. Some people don't use work orders. Some don't need an estimate. They just need to send the invoice, right? So we wanted to be extremely flexible to meet, all the unique business needs and requirements out there, but also very easy and straightforward to use. And again, going back to that experience, it says 55% of the people are willing to pay more for a better experience. So I completely agree with that. And customer service is definitely something that we take very serious and take pride in. Absolutely.
Well, think about it. When it comes to Disney is certainly not the least expensive place in the world. I've had some executives on with Disney. I've had guys that were Imagineers on here. In fact, I'll see another one this upcoming with Vance Morris, which is awesome. He gave me this killer mug behind me. But he explained in detail about all the different variables, like John Walsh Jr. did too as well, which is also, like I said, an executive with Disney, about all the little different nuances of the experience you have with the company. And I think that is a determining factor to so many. When you look at a program like this, you don't have to be like, we're in the carpet, the tile and grout cleaning. We do that. I'm sure a lot of them, but you could be a painter, and this system is so freaking easy to throw together. Whatever you're going to do, you could put it per square foot. Like if you're a painter and you're going to paint Let's say a primer first. You're going to prime it before you paint it because you're changing a color or whatever that happens to be. You could put a per square foot price into it and say, this is what I've got to do. Then I'm putting 2 coats of this paint on. Say somebody wants Benjamin Moore, a better quality paint. Then you could put a price together for what Benjamin Moore is average, put in your expenses if you have to get scaffolding. There's so many variables to painting,
Yeah.
but at least you can break the system down. And once it's programmed, you're kind of done. Now, you will tailor a few things here and there, but it really is diversible to across the board, where a lot of CRM programs in our industry are very specific toward the cleaning industry, which is not a bad thing. However,
Right.
it's very limited when you have something outside of it. I'll tell you an example. Last year, actually the year before, we started pressure washing pavers. So you ever see pavers around pool, the little block pavers, and you
Yeah.
have the sand in between them. We don't put the sand that goes right through. We put what's called polymeric sand, hardened sand in there. So we started doing last year. We did a lot more this past year because I think a combination of COVID, where people were staying more home at their house, they were going to spend more time in their backyard, they were going to do more things. It was easy for me to program all of that stuff into the program and say, okay, this is what I'm charging to clean pavers that are average. This is what it costs to clean pavers a little bit more involved. I've got to repoint a paver because the paver is down and sucked down in. There's a fee for
Yeah.
that. Customer wants a really good grade of sand. Now we just pretty much offer one polymeric sand. We found that works best, but I have a per square foot price to that. If it requires extra time, I have a per square foot price to that. So what's really good, one of the biggest complaints customers give is, I didn't get an estimate. They showed up at my house. I never got the estimate. I know this is crazy, but it happens. And it's not just in New Jersey, it's across the country. Guy came out, seemed nice, wrote everything down, walked away, never got an estimate. Called 4 other guys. I got one estimate.
Yeah.
If you leave
Oh,
that job site and it's so hard for you not to put that estimate together there on the job site, that better be a huge job. Because I make it a rule. If I go out and look at a customer's job site, I write the estimate before I leave their block. Why?
yeah.
Because I don't know what's going to happen 10 minutes from now. And you want something, in my opinion, that's something that makes it so easy for me is I just plug and play, just done, put it together. Yeah, those numbers make sense. That's fine. We just did this. We got this. Did I cover all that? Did I upload the photos of the job into it so I could show the areas of concern? I could show the areas where I've got to spend extra time, where I've got to repoint the pavers, where it's going to take this, and they can make a decision if they want to have it done or they want to have somebody else do it, or they want to skip it, frankly. So it breaks
Yeah.
it all down. And it made it so easy for me just to automate that system and get those out quickly. And I could tell you, I can track the amount that we got just from getting that out quickly, the amount of people that said they hired us because we got it to them quickly. I mean, you're talking probably did $40,000-$50,000 in sales for
Wow.
the most part. Well, probably we did more than that, but just that in getting it out quickly. And,
Right.
and what's really cool, I also liked is I am a lousy typer and I got big fat fingers. I don't hide them. So I can take this iPhone and just talk it in. So,
Yeah.
dear Mrs. Smith, thank you very much for allowing me to come out to your home today to take a look at your tile and grout and your pavers. Attaches an estimate for the detailed work, and I start getting into descriptions about everything I'm going to do. Now, of course, I look back because sometimes it's not perfect, but Apple's pretty good at taking your voice and putting it down. So you get this big, long thing right there, and you look at it and go, okay, maybe 1 or 2 grammar mistakes. Send.
Yeah.
CC yourself. So if it doesn't get to them for some reason, or their email server kicks it back out, then CC it to your regular email server. And
Yeah.
then if you're not sure, you don't hear anything about it, now you can resend it from that too as well. So you cover both bases. But there's
Exactly.
something to be said with efficiency, getting something out quick and landing jobs. People are sick of excuses. And I'm not saying it as a parody on the podcast. They're sick of it. They're hearing it more now than ever because of COVID. It's because of COVID, this doesn't work. It's because of this, COVID doesn't work. It's not their problem. Their problem is they want to have a job done. And they want you to be responsible enough to get them the estimate to them quick enough for them to make a decision. Or they may not choose you, but at least you did your job.
Yep. Absolutely. Agreed. Yeah. I mean, I definitely think being first is important too, and being easy to use is super important, right? Because a lot of the work that our customers do is out in the field. So it is on the mobile device. So, you only have so much real estate. So it really does have to be efficient the way it's laid out and super easy to use and send. you know, yeah, I'm a big believer in automation. So automating as much as you can, especially the reminders, like you were saying, as far as send out the estimate, and if no action has occurred on that estimate, maybe a day or 2 days later, send a follow-up email, follow-up text, and so forth. Or even a 6-month reminder, right after a work order is completed or an invoice is paid. Hey, reminder due for service, right? You don't even have to think about sending those anymore. Just set it, forget it, and then let Markate take over and do all those little notifications, the reminders, top of mind, all that. We'll handle all of that for you. So
And it's
hopefully,
made it. You get people out there that say, "I've got to give them a written invoice." Well, you can print it if you want. I mean, you have that option, obviously, to do it. But I tell our customers, all of them, we have customers across the board. Some of them are 85, some of them are 25, like any
yeah,
service business. We tell them we only do this now from now on because people call us and say, I lost the paper. I lost the invoice. I lost the payment method. Can you resend it to me? Now I got to take the time to put it in an envelope, send it out. Now that used to be easy, like, okay, it's just part of doing business. Now it's a pain in the ass.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
And nobody wants to do that. They
yeah,
want it efficient. Something else I want to talk to about too is the marketing side of it, which is a whole different part of component of it.
yeah,
Obviously, CRM programs are versatile and they have different things to it, but the marketing component is very simple. It's very easy to understand what you're spending on that marketing side. So if you're doing an add-on service and you're doing, like right now, an instance is call forwarding or email, SMS, if I have that correctly,
yeah,
messages
yeah,
out,
yeah.
postcards to my past customers. It's very easy to go and click and just drop and play and just push things out. But can you explain to our listeners a little bit more about how the marketing side works? We're going to get past I could talk about the analytical side of the operations all day, every day. But
Yeah.
marketing is the most important component in your business because without marketing, you don't have any work to do.
Agreed. Yeah. And I think there's two types of marketing too, right? There's the marketing to your existing clients. So highly recommend setting up groups, and then you can slice and dice your data, right? With pets, without pets, kids. I mean, hardwood, non-hard, like set up groups. I think that's super important, because then as you start to drill down in your customer base, you can get very specific in who you're marketing, who you're targeting to, and then get even more specific with that message. So existing customers, we have email blasts, text blasts. You can actually leave a ringless voicemail. So you record a recording, hey, this is Rob Lyon, and we're offering this. I just want to say hi, or thanking you. And you can send that out to all your customers with that recorded message, and it goes straight to their voicemail. So they look down at the phone and they say, I got a voicemail, and they click on it, listen to it. So great tools for existing customers. But we also offer marketing as far as lead generation. So if you're looking into getting to a new area, commercial or residential, it's Customer Finder 360. Go in there, select your criteria, married, pets, kids, income, tons of different filters you can choose from. And then we'll actually send out the postcard for you. So you can either design your own. We have some templates. A lot of people will outsource the design, or they know someone that can design and they upload their own design. That's fine too. Boom, set out those postcards, really trying to penetrate and get into either a new area, new business, or advertising, hardwood floors if you're a carpet cleaner, right? So like a side business, or if you're trying to gain additional revenue streams and you want to market that side of your business, great way to do that. And then all that information is imported into Markate, and it's under your lead. So you have their information moving forward. So, and it's, I think, a little over $1 a postcard. So $1 a lead, pretty cost efficient, pretty effective as well. So yeah, big believer in marketing, right? And so that's why those are add-ons, because we understand most companies are at a different stage in their business. Some are growth, some are established. But you still need to do some sort of marketing, existing or growing, right? So those are add-ons, and as you need, right? A la carte.
Absolutely. And there's something else I was thinking about in the marketing program. So I had Roger on and we talked about EDM, which has its benefits. And if it's done correctly, can be tremendous. I know people that have been very successful with EDM. I also had Josh Latimer on from Send Jim, and Send Jim is a very unique program that can custom tailor, where you're at, a picture of where you're working, and sending that around to different people. And then there's things like you have too as well that are that customer locator. So what's really good, I live in a community, there's probably 800 homes in this particular community.
Mhm.
And I can take and pick out, what person's there. Are they a homeowner, incomes, married, children, dogs if I need to. You could probably really go nuts with it if you really wanted to, but I can really pick out and target the customer I want. And I don't have to say send it to everybody in the block, because the person down the road might not have any rugs, might not have any tile and grout, might not ever hire anybody, might go to ShopRite, to just our grocery store chain, to get a rental machine. They're not going to be your customer. They're not going to be your client. So if
Right.
you don't do those certain demographic searches and almost psychographic searches, you're not going to know. And this tool was really cool because I was able to pick out, okay, these are the people I want to work with in the entire area outside of my community. I have 200 customers that make in excess of $100,000, that they have this, they own the home. There's so many, break it down to almost nothing. You
Hmm.
could find out specifically who you want to work for, and you're not mailing it to everybody else. You're mailing
Right.
it just to those specific prospects that you're going to have. And it's easy.
Absolutely.
You literally just click, 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 and done. So I like it because any growing business owner is busy. I had a guy on yesterday. His name is Ben Surdy. Ben runs a company outside of Seattle, and he grew from absolutely less than nothing to probably a $10 million a year company, huge company, one of the fastest growing companies in the country. And our business probably in the top 10 fastest growing companies. And I watched, to get him on to do a podcast, I was on him for the last 2 months. Constant. Hey, I had to reschedule, but I wanted him. And I knew he had a great story. I knew he'd be a great interview. And I just finally said, hey, I'm not giving up on you. I want you to be on it. I want you to be part of it. You would have I know your story. I think you'd do great on this. And he finally said, I could be available tomorrow between this. And I made sure I canceled everything to make that work. And it was an awesome interview. Ben was phenomenal, but Ben is a busy guy. Okay.
Yep.
Ben doesn't have time to figure out, little thing. He needs to have automation, needs things to do that. But he started from scratch. He started with an old rusted truck with a broken down, leaking truck mount, to what he is today, to a huge company that he is today.
Yep.
You don't
Yep.
get there unless you use these tools, that automation, that systemization behind you. It's a system. And without these tools in place, I don't know how you can really scale and grow. And I think it's just a lot of headaches without it. I don't care if you're one truck. And that's the other thing I hear. I'm one guy. What do I need at this thing for? You're going to be one guy for the next 30 years, I think, if you don't have one.
Yep.
It's so reasonable when it comes down to it. In particular, yours is extremely reasonable,
Yep.
almost where it'd be disbelievable how reasonable it actually is. And it's easy to use. It makes your life easy. You can come back, close out your day, and be done. I spend so little time on the automation side of my business, on the billing side of my business, almost nothing. I get to spend most of my time working on this and doing bigger focus stuff. I've got a couple truck operation, but I don't have to be the only person doing it. And I can't be the only person doing it. I need tools like this that make your life easier. So if you're a one truck wonder, they call it, if you're a one truck, hero, and you're going out there and you're working hard every day and you think you don't need this is just going to take so much off your plate versus trying to keep records and things like that. And again, it's tough for me to realize there are people out there, but I get reminded every single day there are thousands of owner operators out there that don't have anything like this to work. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate.
Absolutely. Like you were saying, I mean, just time management, right? And hopefully getting more time back in your day so you can either do more jobs, right? Bring in more revenue, or, spend more time doing what you love, which, hiking, running, your family, right? So that's really the intent, and to stay organized to allow you to give that customer experience to your customers. So I think you hit the nail right on your head. Not to mention just staying organized, so either you can get your taxes done in a timely manner, or what I hear a lot of customers say is it helps me enable, make good business choices as far as pricing. Can I
Right.
discount? What packages should I do? Because if you don't know your numbers, it's one, you can't measure that. So you don't know if I made a choice to increase my price, what does that do? Or if I do a discount or a promo for the next couple of months, how did that do? How did that impact my bottom line? How did that impact my business? Did I do more work orders? Did I do less? What's my average ticket price? I mean, so much good stuff can come out of it in addition to just staying organized. But I think it can really help you make good informed decisions.
Here's a secondary decision when it comes to tracking leads. So Mrs. Smith calls in and says, you say, "Thank you, Mrs. Smith. I appreciate your time today. By the way, how did you find out about us? I found you online." Click. And you're like, okay, so how do I go down this rabbit hole? Because online's a big place. That's like saying I breathe air in the world. That's
Yeah.
literally what it's like. So then you have to go and ask, oh, did you happen to see, well, where did you happen to see it? Oh, I was searching online. Oh, yeah. Were you just searching on Google? Yeah, no problem. So then I have to start getting into more metrics onto it and find out. And you think it's a pain, but it's very, very important you do this. So if anybody's listening to this, this is some sound advice. You need to find out where that's coming from. I need to know if that's coming from SEO work that's being done. If my SEO guy is creating opportunities in the markets I'm in, because I do a rifle approach to SEO. So I market heavily to a certain area until I have a certain amount of saturation. Then I move to another area. I don't just hit everybody like a shotgun.
Yeah.
So you look at it and go, where's this coming in from? If it's coming in from Google because they found you on Google local services, then that's a paid one, which you probably know about. If they're coming into your Google business page, that's something. If they found you on Yelp, that's something. If they found you on a review site, they found your reviews, then you know it probably they went to your website and they saw something, because reviews don't necessarily just stick out. People have to click something and they're going to go, oh, let me go into that rabbit hole and find out more about it.
Yeah.
So I think without having a system that you could say, okay, it's like my lead source probably has, I kid you not, probably 27, 28 different lead sources. It's really cut down to where it is, because I need to know how much revenue is being produced. How on this holy earth is anybody tracking where the dollar is coming from? So if you're spending, let's say $700, $800 a month on SEO, you're a company, a multi-truck company, small one might not be spending that much, and some would spend considerably more. You need to know where those dollars are coming in from. You need to know, because you're going to look at it and go, oh, SEO doesn't work because they all came in from Google. SEO might be only reason people are coming to Google, but you won't know that unless you really track it. And if you don't have little areas to break it down, or subdivisions of an area, subsections of it, how are you going to know? Yes, it's Google, great, but did it come in from this and this? If you don't have a system that tracks that you can output it, you're going to look at that metric and say, and metric by being this is where my where my revenue is coming in from, and go, well, it all came in from online. Well, then that's 100%. That made it easy, didn't it? Well, if you're advertising in 7 different places, 6 of them are not working according to what you just said, and actually all of them might be working. You just don't know which one's going where.
Yep. And then obviously you don't want to be throwing your money in the 4 that aren't, right? And you want to double down on the 3 that are. So I'm strong believer in, I am a data guy and I like to get into the numbers, but I think really that just makes you, it just puts you in a better position to make a better informed decision, right? And then your company is relying on those decisions to succeed well into the future. So
what is some advice you can give to somebody that has maybe they're using another CRM program they're not like really happy with, or they're new to it one way or the other? They never even had one. What would you say to somebody like that? I know I can talk about it because I'm passionate about it. I love stuff like that, but that's me and it's for my business.
Yep.
What would you
Yep.
say to somebody that hasn't experienced it, hasn't used Markate yet, maybe has never used a CRM program, but I'm hoping they have, or they're just not really crazy about whatever? What are some of the things that people need to know about when looking at your program?
Yeah, so I think one, if you are using pen and paper or an Excel doc or a Word doc and you're just kind of fumbling it together, really start looking at a CRM. I really think especially for something like our system, $30 a month, $40 a month, if you have an add-on or two, you will get your return on your investment. I promise you, you will get a couple more jobs a month to pay for it. In itself, whether it's just because you followed up with the customer or you reminded someone that they were due for service, I guarantee you will get it. It's also going to save you time. And time is money. It's time you could be spending doing more jobs It's time that you could be spending with your family. It's time that you could be, identifying new leads and marketing to growing your business. So um, at the end of the day, it will save you time. Something like our system that's so flexible and customizable, it doesn't matter what your workflow or your requirements are. I really do feel strong that it'll meet your needs. I'm not gonna say we're 100% perfect for everyone. So I would say give us a call. We can set up a time. We actually listen, we sit down, we learn more about how you do it, how you want to do it. And then we'll sit down and say, hey, this is what we'd recommend. There are times we say, hey, you know what? It's just something we're not going to do. So, sorry, and we'll send you on your way. We're not going to force it down your throat. For us, it is about the experience, and we want to learn about your specific needs, your requirements, what it takes for you to land a new customer, how you service it, and then we'll talk with you to see if Markate can do that for you. But I highly encourage you to use something, not just for time management, but liability and expenses. Have a terms and conditions is extremely important. Again, the notification reminders, the communication aspect of staying in front of your customers and top of mind, I think is huge. And then also the marketing aspect of it and finding new leads to be sustainable. And then, at the end result, since all that data is within Markate, you can look at it and break it down. What's my average ticket price? What's my conversion rate? How many work orders or estimates do I need to send out in order to get back? Do I need to do something different? Am I too high, too low? All that information, all that data is there. So as you start to use the system more and more versus paper and pen or Excel or Word, and you're searching, hitting Control F, trying to find it, and then erase, delete, it'll all be there for you. And then you can just log in and quickly find it, take a look at it, make that decision or that choice, and go from there. So, I would say just give us a call and, let us just talk to you, or let us listen and hear about how you do your business or how you manage your business. And then if it makes sense to take the next step, then we will, whether that's a demo, we can help you set up your account. We do offer a 2-week free trial. So at least try it out. We do weekly webinars. We do one-on-one demos. So we are here to help. So I think the first step is just, hey, give us a call, set up a time to talk, learn more about your business, and take it from there.
This one's going to be a little bit of a testimonial. So I got the 2-week trial.
Mm-hmm.
3 days later, I called him and said, "Sign me up." "Well, don't you want to go for your?" No, I'm good. I don't need to go 2 weeks on this. It was for me. It was perfect for me. Particular, it was perfect. I don't need. Here's my credit card. I'm done. And guys, also, QuickBooks is an accounting software. It's not a CRM program. It's never been a CRM program. You can link Markate with QuickBooks, which is what I do, in order to get real numbers when it comes to accounting, because nobody wants to pay more money than they have to, but you have to pay every dollar you owe. And you need to know what those numbers are. QuickBooks is very good for putting accounting, knowing your assets, knowing your debits and your credits, understanding what a P&L, which, by the way, you could still pull a P&L in your program, which is pretty freaking awesome. So you could to get to those end of the year things that you make decisions and you pay taxes on, you have the end of the year close on. You need to have other programs like Markate that do link with accounting software. QuickBooks is pretty much what everybody uses.
Yep.
To do it. And again, it's not an operating system if you're operating it that way. I mean, when we didn't have a choice, that was okay, but it's not today. And honestly, it's so ridiculously reasonable. I got no other words for it. It's just to take the headache, one less headache you'll have in a month to do it. Is it worth it? Yeah, it's a meal. Going out to eat with your wife, with your kids, at a diner, not even at a good place. You couldn't go too many places for what it costs here, even New Jersey. I'm going to Quiznos for that. I mean, it's not, it's a couple dollars, and it seems like it's well said. So, Scott, thank you so much. How can our listeners find out a little bit more about you? And if they want to get in touch with you directly, how should they go about doing that?
Yeah. So you can visit our website, www.markate.com. So markate.com. You can send me an email directly at Scott, SCOTT, @markate.com. or our generic one is sales at, but feel free to reach out to me directly. My direct line, I'll give it to everyone here, is the 480-444-8594. Again, please reach out to us if you have questions on anything, the program itself, what it can do. Reach out to us. We're happy to help. If anything, sign up for the free trial. We do offer the weekly webinars every Wednesday, every Friday. You can sign up and sit on the webinar for a tutorial. We go over it about 30 minutes or so. So feel free to do that. But yeah, look forward to hearing from you guys and answering any questions and helping any way we can.
I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you so much for your time today. Again, I wanted listeners to understand I personally use this program. So it's, yes, I am jaded, and I've used other CRM programs and I have nothing against them. Every one I've seen out there for the most part is really, really good, but some things are different for different people. For me, the ease of convenience, the likability, the scalability from a one truck, which is what I was when I started on the program, made it an easy decision. When you have so many expenses, especially startup, it's always, you have a lot more expenses when you start up than once you get going. It just seems to be the nature of, especially the service business. But it made it affordable to a person that said, this is my budget and this is what I can work with. And it's extremely, you won't believe this thing if you try it out. So thank you,
Well,
Scott.
thank you, Rob.
Appreciate it.
No, thank you so much for all you do. I appreciate it.
All
Thanks for
right,
having
sir. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good day, and please reach out to Scott.
Thank you.